Hey everybody, so here's what I wanted to do that I was initially having some problems with, and I figured I would make a video to show everybody how I got through it and had some help online and finally figured it out. So I have my Helix set up, going through my Hughes & Kettner Tubemeister 36 amp. I was controlling the channel switching with the standard foot switch going into the auxiliary guitar line into the Helix, but I wanted to control it with MIDI because the other way is a little limiting. Unfortunately, the MIDI instructions in the Hughes & Kettner manual are kind of light, especially when it comes to doing something like this. So I did get some help and figure out how to actually trigger the commands I wanted in the Tubemeister by using the learn function. However, what I found out is the snapshot mode will not work with the learn mode on the Hughes & Kettner. So I figured out a workaround. What you have to do is first you have to actually set up your MIDI commands using the standard foot switch, trigger it with the learn mode, so that the Hughes & Kettner amp is programmed with the setting you want. Then you can apply that inside the Helix. So I'll show you what I did. So first things first, here I've got my Tubemeister set up. It's on a clean channel, volumes midway, gains midway on clean. Really nothing exciting, but what I want to do is I want to be able to trigger the crunch channel and add a little bit of meat to my my setup. By the way, my Helix is actually going out to the effects loop in and then coming out back into the Helix. So I'm using the amp head for effects and for gain and for a little bit more meat. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up the Tubemeister the way I want it, which means I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to switch to the crunch channel. I'm going to crank the gain up a little bit and the volume up a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the settings here. I'm going to go into the controls on my Helix, go into the command center, and I'm going to pick one of the foot switches. It doesn't matter because I'm actually not going to use this. What I'm doing right now is I'm assigning a channel and a number, a CC number, to the Tubemeister MIDI commands. So I go ahead and switch this over to bank program. You have to change the bass MIDI channel. You can't just leave it on bass. So I'm going to switch it to channel 1. And I'm going to go over to program and I'm going to change this to 25 because I know it's not. I'm not using 25 for anything. So I have this all set up. Now what I do is I go to the back of my Tubemeister, and on the right hand side in the back here there's a learn. Can't really see it. There's a learn button which I'm going to press, learn MIDI, and hopefully you can see that. Probably not. Now the Tubemeister's sitting waiting for a command. So all I have to do now is I have to press this button down here. And the Tubemeister light will actually go out. The learn light will go out. So I've essentially now told the Tubemeister that when it receives the bank program command from the Helix, MIDI channel 1, program 25, it'll switch over to crunch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to clean, and now if I press the foot switch, it switches over, which is perfect, exactly what I want. Except I don't want to have to use this foot switch. I want to do it on a snapshot. And again, the snapshot buttons do not work in learn mode on the Tubemeister. So what I'm going to do for for illustration's sake, is I'm going to go ahead and set up 2 more channels, and then I'm going to clear these foot switch commands, and I'm going to use the snapshots to change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over here to, let's go to a lead, and let's set the volume, it's lead, let's set the volume up high and the gain up high. Okay, and I'm going to switch over to the next foot switch in the series. I'm going to make that bank program, bank program, base 1, and we're going to go to 26 because that's the next one in line. I haven't used that. So we'll do that, and again, come up here, press the MIDI learn on the back, and then press the button. So now I've got these 2 switches which will switch between these channels and settings. Also, by the way, I'm not doing it right now, but you can also use this to change the channel soak settings, or the power soak settings on the back. So if you want to raise or lower the volume and the output on the amp head, you can do that also. I'm not doing that. Nobody is on this side of the house. I can get as loud as I want. All right, so let's do one more. I'm going to go back to a clean channel, so I'm going to assign that to this switch, again, temporarily. So we'll come over here. I'm going to change this to bank program, and what the heck, 27 is the next one in line. So let's do that. So we're going to go ahead, switch this to clean. I'm going to reach in the back, press MIDI learn, press this, and we should be good. Now I should be able to now switch between the 3 different channels. Okay, great. That's what I want. But again, now I have 3 switches taken up that I don't want. I want to assign them to snapshots. So here's where it gets fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to and remember now, these the settings I have here, they don't matter. All I did was I used these to program the TubeMeister with those MIDI commands. So the TubeMeister now has learned those MIDI commands. So what I'm going to do now is I can go into each one of these, and I can just clear each one of these switches. It really doesn't matter because I'm not going to use them. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to go to the snapshots, and let's start with the first snapshot. That's going to be my clean. Okay, so once you have the MIDI assignments programmed into your TubeMeister, I'm assuming this would also work with a Grandmeister, any one of the Hughes and Kettner amps, but once you have the assignments set up the way you want them, then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the preferences and into the command center. And the way this works for snapshots is you're going to take the previously set up MIDI commands, and you're just going to use each one is in a snapshot in the instant command in the command center for each snapshot. So that's really all you have to do. So for the first one, I'm just going to take instant command. I'm going to bank program MIDI channel 1, and we used 25 for the first one. So that's the first setting. Go to the second snapshot. Bank program 1 is we're going to change that to 26, and then we're going to go to do the third snapshot here and make that 27, and let's save that. I probably have to save this between each one, which, like a fool, I did not do, but let's see. Yep, we do. So let me go back here and change this back to 25 and save this, and then second snapshot will go command center 26, save that, command center, snapshot 3, 27, oh look, it saved it, 26, 25, okay, perfect. Now if I look at my amp, each one of my snapshots now actually changes the channels. So now I can use snapshots with MIDI commands. And again, since they're snapshots, I can also layer on top, all sorts of settings and blocks and changes throughout the Helix for other things too. So that's basically the way it works. Thanks.